Now, next up, we have Peter talking about our connection. Mine and Peter have the same connection. It started in England, it went to Baltimore, Maryland, and ended up in Lurkai, Haiti. So go ahead, Peter. The stage is yours.
So yes, regarding that connection of Baltimore and Lekai in Haiti, it's we're talking of the Hall family. I'm not a direct descendant of the Hall family, but my wife is, and therefore my children are descendants of the Hall family. And the first one to be born in Haiti, and therefore Lekai, was Edward Hall. And he was born at the very end of the 18th century, at the end of the colonial time of Saint-Domingue. And the family always knew that, you know, he was born of an American father who was in Lekai at the time. Edward Hall himself, after the independence, played a political role. He even became a senator of Haiti, and was very active politician, and had a dire end because he was executed in Lekai by order of Emperor Faustin Ier. Following that, his wife prohibited their children to ever be involved in politics anymore. So, but they did many generations served as public servants, as a notary, as a director of customs in the city of Lekai. Many were also merchants. It was a very prolific family. Edward Hall had many children, and each of these children had many children themselves. The Hall girls married into many other Lekai families. And nowadays you have a lot of Haitians living in Haiti and living in the States and overseas that are descendants of the Hall family. What I would like to add at this point, very often nowadays we think that Haitian migration to other parts of the world and to the United States specifically is something recent, is something that started in the 1960s or 70s and even more recently. It's not the case. Haitians, that back and forth between the United States and Haiti has been going on starting in colonial time, went on in the entire 19th century, and now in the 20th century. So that connection and tie is very present, and records prove it. So that's what I had to say about it. The agreement between Alain and I was to leave to Alain the presentation of the Baltimore connection, because I must say, he is the one who gave me the link, and that I was able to go further up that lineage through Baltimore into England.
Thank you so very much, Peter. Yeah, guys. So when Peter started the research, it's his wife's family, who's also my cousin. So his kids are my cousins as well. And we always thought, I think he was from somewhere else. And I started digging and doing some research. So the two gentlemen that are pictured here, they're actually the great grandsons of Edward Hall, who was a trade merchant from Baltimore, Maryland. His name was spelled Edward, Edward, and his son, of course, spelled the French way, Edouard. And that's how we found the connection, along with DNA and the paper trail. I have a copy of Edward Hall from Baltimore, his will, his will and last testament, as well as ledgers and accounts from when he traveled as a trade merchant from Baltimore to Lekai. We also have records of his children's marriage documents, or when he was actually in Haiti doing trade, and we have those signatures. We actually matched up the signatures with somebody who works with handwriting to make sure it was the exact same signature, as well as records and DNA. So it is amazing. The house on the right hand side is called Sophia's Dairy, Dairy. It is still located in Baltimore, Maryland. It is still standing today. And Edward Hall, the man from England who went to Haiti, actually, it was his grandfather, Aquila Hall, who actually built this house for his wife. It's actually on the Baltimore's National Historic Sites. You can go and visit the house and take a look, and the house is still standing. His family is also a part with signing the original Maryland Constitution. So there's a lot of info and ancestry that connects to there. I didn't dig into Haiti because Peter already did the work for me. I'm going to share one more piece of information, which I thought was fascinating. This gentleman is Thomas White. He was a lawyer, surveyor, and a founder of the Academy and College of Philadelphia, which is the University of Philadelphia that is today. He is the gentleman that I just showed you before. He is their he is their third great grandfather. He is Colonel Thomas White. And if you go to the University of Philadelphia, his photo is there, along with information about his past, who he wed, who his children are. And this is a direct ancestor of people who are descendants of the Hall family from Lekai, Haiti. So this is just to show you, the digger you deep, the more you find, the connections are there. You never know where you may be, because some people don't believe that there's anything outside of Haiti, but there's so much more. There is so much more.
Why were they coming to Baltimore, and where was the house that was spoken about on those slides located in Baltimore?
That is a great question. So this ancestor was a trade merchant. He left Baltimore and he was doing trade in Lekai. A lot of trade merchants, pastors, bishops, businessmen, textiles, and people who were trading furs and different treasures were trading with Saint Domingue. It was a very rich and very prosperous French colony. So these trade merchants were going to Haiti to do trade, and a lot of them had partners or plaçage, and they had children that they didn't claim. So these children ended up being the descendants of these trade merchants. And the house is located, I can't remember exactly where it is located, but if you look for Sophia's Dairy, it's going to be spelled the normal way, Sophia, and then Dairy. It's actually in Riverside, Maryland. It's in Riverside, Maryland. So look for that, and that is the house of that ancestor, and it is there on the National Registry. But it happens a lot. I have many lineages as well that are from Boston, that are from New York, that are from Philly, and another place, and they were all trade merchants. They were priests, and they came down to begin the Methodist Church, the Seventh-day Adventist Church, or they were starting the Pentecostal Church, and they were very influential in the uprising of many denominations in Haiti.
May I add also that a lot of those trade merchants coming from the United States were dealing, to purchase colonial goods from the colony of Saint-Domingue to ship and sell in the United States. A product that was very often purchased from Saint-Domingue by the Americans was molasses. And Lekai was also a very big producer of molasses at the time. And as a matter of fact, it was one of the best molasses came from Lekai. And so when somebody in the United States knew that, they were purchasing Okai molasses, they knew it was the best. It was a fine molasses. And therefore, that's where a tidbit information, that's where the word okay comes from in the American language. Something's okay, it comes from, it was okay molasses. It was therefore a very good molasses. It wasn't okay, it was a fine product. And that's where the word okay comes from. It's from Okai.